So what I'm going to talk about is like this is a new program that we are launching. So I'll just give a brief introduction about that, and we'll talk about a few aspects of it, like what it means and how it is applicable to our life, right? And then we'll take some questions and answers. We'll in between, like we might do some practices here and there, right? So this is just an open house to talk about this program, and then we give basic information, and then most of the things will happen through the practice that we indulge in. Right? So this program is called a Smart Healing Program. So SMART is an acronym that we have come up with. It's basically it's a subtle, it's mindful, it's applied, it's relaxation, and it's a healing technique. So SMART, SMART. So subtle, mindful, applied, relaxation technique. Right? So why it is subtle? Because if you look at the definition of yoga, it works on not only just the gross body, but also it works on the subtle body. So if you look at the complete nature, the whole universe, including us, everything that you look around, they are made up of 8 elements, 8 parts, or 8 components, you can call it. They, in Sanskrit, they call Ashtada Prakriti, the 8-fold nature. Right? So the first 5 are mostly building all the objects in the world, starting from the planet Earth, trees, and everything you can think about it, that has an existence in this planet or the universe is made up of these 5 components. And there are 3 subtle components which are different. So one is constituting the gross body. Everything that you can think about, everything is perishable. Like it exists for a certain time, but it can be destroyed. Certain things are not perishable items. They are more sentient. Like they have the power to know, they have the power to feel, they have the power to comprehend. They have a different kind of characteristics. So the 5 things that mostly of the objects in the world are created is about earth element, the water, the fire, the air, and the space. So if you look at the earth is matter, the water is also matter, the air is also matter, the fire is an energetic component. It creates more energy in your body. The space is neither fire nor energy nor matter. Right? So these 5 things mostly constitutes everything that you can think about, which gives an existence, a size, a form, a name, and shape. That's what exists. A house, a table, a laptop, a pen, everything you can think about the human body. It exists in the space with a particular form, with a particular name, with a particular weight, with a particular attribute. So that is the made up of that is the making of the gross body. So now the other subtle 3 components are mind, intelligence, and ego. So these 3 things are not made up of material body. They are made up of conscious element. They are like consciousness element. So they have the power to feel, they have the power to know, they have the power to decide, they have the power of comprehending things, analyzing things. They are basically self-aware. If you look at very different proportion, this consciousness has been distributed. There is a gradation, right? If you look at a rock, a mountain, they exist in the world. They have a particular size, particular shape, particular volume, particular weight, right? So that is called the basic existence. But there is another component into plants, into animals. That's called the element of consciousness, Chit. So there is Sat which is existing. Chit is the consciousness. Right? So like if you look at the rocks, have a very less amount of consciousness. The consciousness is flowing through the rocks in a very limited way. Right? The consciousness is also flowing through the plants. Right? In a very limited way. But better than rocks. Right? That's so they can feel, they can move. They can be also very sensitive to the music. They can be sensitive to the geotropism. They understand how to go down or how to go towards photosynthesis, towards the light. Like they have got some senses, right? So the senses are developed in plants, but in the animals, the senses are developed, but they also have a mind, right? So the second component is building up, right? So the consciousness is flowing to the animals to give not only the physical existence, but also giving the sense and also giving a limited mind. They have mind. They understand. They are afraid about things. They know how to protect themselves. They know how to defend themselves. Right? So all these things have been given to animals. But if you look at the next stage, that is called the Ananda or the pure bliss. Chit and that Ananda. So Sat is the pure existence, Chit is the consciousness, and the last component is bliss factor. That bliss factor is extremely developed in human beings, not in the rocks or not in the plants or animals. So they have got a lot of what brings self-awareness. It brings complete awareness. They know about themselves. Right? So if you look at the subtle aspect of it, the mind, body and intelligence, or mind, intelligence and ego, so this is where this program works. Because it's a subtle program, it works on our mind, it works on our intelligence. Right? So that's why it's called subtle technique. We're just giving a preview of like what the program is about. So it's a subtle, mindful, applied relaxation technique. That's called the Smart Healing Program. So we're defining like what is a subtle body. So there is a gross body, a physical body. The physical body doesn't have a lot of power. Right? Without the subtle body, the body doesn't work. If the mind is not there, the body cannot even lift up the pen. If the mind is taken out, I cannot even do anything. So the mind and intelligence and ego have to be involved to make things work. Right? So all these practices of yoga and meditation, it does work on the mind. And if you look at anybody, like if you define anybody, what would you describe it? A person's name, a person's height, a person's color, complexion, a person's age, like what he does, whose son he is, what kind of work he does, right? All these things is the basic characteristics that we do, what he likes, what he doesn't like. So if you look at mostly either it's body, it's mind or intellect, right? So body takes care of what is the size and shape, what is the color of the complexion of the skin, all these things. It talks about the physical part of it, and where he lives and what he does and what he likes, what he doesn't like is most the mind component. He's smart, he's intelligent, he's a successful person. All these things is talking about the intelligence part of it. So this thing, mind, body and intellect, they always work together. Right? Think about like when you're eating. Mostly we indulge into physical activity, like we use the food and then we eat with our food, we eat with our mouth and we digest with the body. Right? It's a physical activity. But think about without the mind component, you can't also eat. If you don't like a particular food, you won't eat it. Right? So the mind also has to be involved in eating. Think about if you are having a friendship with somebody, you like somebody. So when you like somebody, you also share some experiences, some talks happens, shaking the hand, or touching each other, or appreciating each other, laughing together. All these things are physical activity. Even though the mind as a feeling is expressed primarily when you are expressing love with somebody, or having a friendship with someone, but body is also involved. Or you are doing some intellectual work, like you are doing a homework or college work, or if you are doing office work, mostly you are remembering, you are writing, you are reading through your eyes. So body is involved, mind is also involved, intellect is also involved. So in any activity that you do, this body, mind and intellect, they always play or interplay different roles to make something happen. Right? But if you look at what is very defining is the mind. Because if you don't have a liking for something, you can't do that for a longer time. If you're not feeling happiness about it, if you don't love it, you won't. That's human nature. Anything that we love, we always try to have it with us. Anything that we don't love, we try to avoid that. Any person who gives us love, sense of security, sense of comfort, we always try to be closer to that person. Anybody who doesn't give that, we try to avoid that person. Isn't it? So that is a field of mind. So the mind plays a very important role in our life. All through our life, we always listen to our mind. Right? But mind creates desires. This is what I have to eat, this is what I like to see, this is what I like to hear, this is what I like to touch. So all these five senses that we have is controlled by the mind, or carried out by the mind. But mind has to be controlled by the intelligence. Because mind takes the desire or creates the desire in our body, and intelligence takes the decision. Right? I don't want to do this office work, it's so late, I don't want to finish this project. Mind is telling that. But the intelligence tells like tomorrow is the only day, tomorrow is the deadline, you have to do that. Otherwise you have to lose a lot of money or you have to lose your job. So the intelligence decides for that. I want to eat that. Oh no, you have got diabetes, you can't eat ice cream right now. The intelligence decides for that. So there is an interplay of that also. And there are a lot of subtle areas which is in between this, in between the different senses, in between body and mind, in between mind and intellect, intelligence and beyond that, our total personality. Right? So these are a lot of subtle concepts which makes a lot of meaning in our life. So when we don't have enough time to appreciate all these things, we primarily listen to our mind and totally forget about employing our intelligence. So when you don't do that, we always fall prey to whatever we want to see, whatever we want to smell, whatever we want to talk, whatever we want to eat. So all our life is completely driven by the senses, only the sensory perception. So if you look at the happiness in our life, the happiness can come through pleasures by engaging into sensory activities. But studies have proven that those happiness that is coming out of the pleasure is very low quality. Right? It lasts very limited amount of time. And you satiate with that. After you eat 3 scoops of ice cream, you kind of get bored. You don't want to do that. If you do certain things, go to the right few times, and after that, you get fed up with that. Okay, I've already done that. So and also it can build up habits. Like it can build addiction. Right? But if you get engaged into different kind of activities, like if you engage into something, that gives you different kind of pleasure. It long lasts. Or if you do something more meaningful in life, then also more everlasting. Right? In the yoga terms, they call it dharma, artha, kama, moksha. There is a 4 path. It's called 4 purushartha. 4 path, how you get to the final point. So dharma is like what you has a moral code of conduct. What is the values that holds you together? What is the personality elements? What are the virtues that you have? Why you stand for? What's the value that you're defining by? What's the education? What's your qualification? What's your uniqueness in this life? That education that we get, the samskara or the different kind of qualities that we have built up. So that holds us together, who we are, right? That defines who we are. So that's called dharma. Then having meaningful applications of whatever we have learned, that's called artha, meaningful application. You go to the college, you get education, get certification, finally apply for a job, and you make money out of that. So what do you do with the money? Then you build a family, you build a life, you have children, you have cars, you have got house. You find some meaningful application of that money to get pleasure out of it, happiness out of life. It's called kama, or the desire. And finally, you go to a state where you completely learn the lessons of life, you learn different concepts about life, and liberate from this cycle of whatever we do, this karma, moksha and all these things, and then finally go to a state where you realize the truth of life. That's called moksha. Or kind of liberate from the shackles of the mind. So yoga is a beautiful tool who helps us to free the mind from all the different shackles that we have. Anger, jealousy, short-sightedness, or depression, rejection, all kind of this thing, negative emotions that we go through in our life. Those are all different shackles that the mind is entangled with, or mind is burdened with. So the technique of yoga helps us to come out of that in a very easier way. There are a lot of tools and techniques on that. So this subtle body has to be worked on. And yoga is a very proven science of mind-body connection. It helps us to transcend from one component to another component, one domain to another domain. So when you transmigrate those mind, the experience that is obtained is very powerful. That's why it works in the subtle body. Why it is mindful? Because mindfulness, according to the definition, is something that helps us to be present in the moment. How you can be in the present in the moment? When you are present in the moment, you are not in the past, not in the future. You are right here and now. And yoga is a perfect practice of being in the moment. Because you cannot practice yoga without being, mindful. Because it's not like running on a treadmill that you watch a TV or read a newspaper or listen to the music and do it. You perfectly focus yourself because it's a mind-body thing. You have to align your mind and body together. You have to work on the subtle body, not just the gross body, right? So it has to be present in the moment in a non-reactive and non-judgmental way. Most of the times we make a judgment, make an opinion about certain person's look and feel or certain person's qualifications, dress style, all the things we come into judgment right now. We become reactive also. Why did it happen to me? I don't want to do that. So all these reactions happens in our life. So when you are present in the moment without being judgmental about things, without being reactive to things, And then a couple of more components they talk about is how to be curious in life. Like you have to be like a child. That innocence has to be there. You have to be knowing about it, exploring attitude. Like you have to know like what's coming up next. You have to have that suspense element. Then only you can enjoy life. Otherwise you'll be automatically get bored. Like the young children, like they get bored so easily. So we have to inject some kind of curiosity in your life. Asking questions, inquiring about what is the best thing that I could do? Why am I doing like this? So when you ask these questions, indirectly you are employing your intelligence. And you are taking the right decisions. Otherwise you are just getting swayed away by the senses or by the mind. Right? So you have to be curious about it. And then another component is acceptance. You have to learn how to accept yourself or accept anybody else. Isn't it? It's a very great quality. Like most of the times we don't accept things and we fight with them. We don't accept and we resist. And when we resist to things that's happening in our life, it persists more and more. So resistance causes persistence. So when you learn how to accept why the roof is like that, because it is. Why the floor is like that, because it is. So you have to accept it. Why this person is like that, that's the nature. Everybody is in a unique journey. So instead of just trying to change somebody, trying to mold somebody into the way that we want, that leads to a lot of frustration. So when you accept that, like, okay, I can be the change. I cannot change my wife, I cannot change my children. I can be an example, I can give them information. But based on the information, whatever the change that happens, I have to change myself to get adjusting. So that acceptance is a good idea. So when you learn how to accept things, you will be less frustrated and you will be more happier towards it. You will be more productive, more efficient. So being mindful means being present in the moment in a non-judgmental way, non-reactive way, in a curious mindset and in an accepting way. And the sixth component is about compassion. You have to be compassionate for others and yourself. Most of the times we become very hard on our own self. Right? So if you have taken a commitment to come to yoga class, if you could not come one day, you don't have to really beat yourself. Or if you have done some mistake, you have to be gently remind yourself, okay, I have done this mistake, now I will take care of it next time. So that self-compassion is very powerful technique. Most of the time we self-sabotage ourselves. We have got a lot of labels created by our own self. That's what draws us back, like that's what pulls us back very badly. So if you learn how to be self-compassionate and then try to give yourself a chance and learn that life is a journey, it's an experience that's coming up, and you are present in the moment, you're not worrying about what you made in the past, you're not guilty about what will happen, you learn the lesson and move forward, moving forward. Nothing is wasted in the past, whatever you've done, it's all accumulated. So when you have that mindset, having the trust within yourself, then you are enjoying the life. So you have to work on the subtle body in a mindful way. That's the M component. Then you have to apply that to different challenges of life. So suppose you have got stress, or you've got blood pressure, or you've got back pain, you've got neck pain, you've got insomnia, you've got diabetes, or you've got hypertension. So whatever the physical conditions or mind conditions or emotional state of mind you have to apply these tools and techniques that you learn. Which one works best? What concept works best? What is that knowledge that I need to learn right now at this stage of my life so that I can go to the next step, move forward. Like those things are very important. So it has to be applied to a particular condition, including your body, your different kind of parameters, your profession, your age, your background. All those things have to be considered before you apply particular techniques. It's called Ritu, Kala, Mana, Chakra. It's a cycle of different components. Ritu is the seasons, like how the seasons changes. The sun's transformation happens. There are different kind of characteristics that changes in the world. Kala is the time. You have to understand the timing factor. There's so many times that we can do it, but the timing is not right. You have to do it. There is always a set timing for everything. So you have to do that, considering the time as a factor. Then Mana is all the different variables, including your physical variables, including your job profile, including your professional qualifications, including your personality type, your Vata, Pitta, Kapha, whatever the different characteristics that we can attribute to yourself. So you have to consider many of the aspects together and then take a right decision to decide a particular truth. So if you do that, there is more chance that you become successful in achieving that goal. Right? This should be applied. And then relaxation is a very important aspect of our component, because when you relax your mind, the mind becomes very receptive. Right? Think about, like, when you have to teach something very simple, like to a small child. If the child is hungry, or the child is angry, or the child is not in a good mood, No matter how many times you say like, go and wash your hands. No, I'm not going to wash my hands. Isn't it like very resisting, not a rebellion. But if you become a little bit more funny and then you become like a daddy be a horsey and things like that, and then carry that child on your back and then good, look, daddy is going to wash his hands. Are you going to do that? Automatically the child becomes pliable and then he will wash his hands. So mind also works in a similar way. Mind is always like a child. It always resists to something. It always has the first impression, lasting long kind of thing. It's very less time it's changing, right? Like a child. So you have to make it more receptive. You have to make it relaxed. So when you physically relax your body, the mind also relaxes because they're together. The mind exists inside the body. So it has to work with the body. So through the body, by opening up different joints, for example, by stretching different muscles, by doing a little bit of movement, you try to relax the body. When you relax the body, like facial muscles relax, automatically the mind calms down. The number of thoughts reduces. And within that time, if you have a goal, like I want to be healthy, I want to get this job, or I want to heal my back pain, or I want to build a relationship with my children. So whatever that goal it could be, if you think about that goal, automatically it helps you to train the mind. When the mind is convinced about a particular goal, it will direct all the senses. Right? So there are objects in the world. Objects are experienced by the senses in our body. The mind controls the sense, and the intelligence controls the mind, and the soul controls the intelligence. That's the hierarchy. And there is something supra-mental, like something bigger than that, all the things, including our personality. So there is a gradation of how things work. Right? There is a hierarchy of things. So if we learn these techniques and apply them in a particular way, in a relaxed manner, automatically there is a more chance of making it work. Right? So it's a wonderful technique that heals a particular condition. Healing is like restoring back how the things were earlier. Not just curing things or kind of taking care of the symptoms of it, but going to the root and finding out why it happened. Most of the times if you see like this physical condition that is happening in our body, there is a deeper root of that. There is a problem could be the mind, thinking process. There could be some intellectual concept that you learned in the childhood that is shaping your mind to think in a particular way. There could be a spiritual problem, much bigger, much subtle, they do not know, like autoimmune disease or many of the things that science cannot explain why things happen. There's a lot of subtle reasons why somebody suffers in life. There could be a karmic condition. People talk about karma. Now why this previous time, maybe or in your childhood time, whatever that you can believe in, there is always a cause and effect to many extent. So maybe there is a reason why, maybe that is the path that we have defined, that's the path you've chosen. Right? So if you understand different aspects in a relaxed way, if you apply that, that becomes a very proven technique for us to find out a good path for fulfilling something, for achieving a goal. So that's why it's called a smart technique. It's a subtle, mindful, applied relaxation technique, and that heals our body, mind, and soul. So, and then we have believed that if you do something consistently, at least for 21 days, it forms a habit in us, right? So we have got thoughts. So if you do indulge into that thinking, the thoughts influence our action, right? And action influences our habits, and habits influence our destiny. This is what Stephen Covey talks about in his book, 7 Habits of Successful People, right? So you have to first think about the thoughts. The thoughts are a part of the mind. Then thoughts should influence your action, part of the body, like what you do. Then if you consistently do a particular action all the time, it forms a habit in your life. That's part of your personality, characteristics, right?
Knowledge, skill and attitude. He says knowledge, skill and attitude.
Yeah, there is another model also.
Overlapping.
Knowledge, skill and
Stephen Covey. Yeah.
Again. So if you apply this concept, it reshapes your personality, your thought are changed, your action are changed, and that is what changes your destiny. Whatever you are supposed to do, it will change. So that's called, in other words, like a free will. There are so many factors, like people believe in astrology. They might think like there are different aspects of the planet's conditions, there are different aspects of the universe that affects our consciousness. Why we cannot do certain things, why we cannot prevent certain things to do it, We know that this is the truth. We know that I should not be doing it, but we cannot stop doing that. There are other factors involved in life. There could be relationship between different objects around us. It's called vastu, like in how you position things, where the energy is happening. So all those things could be conditions. There could be there could be different peoples, a different kind of chemistry that happens, different vibes. So there are certain concepts of like aura, how your energy level is getting controlled by other people, how much of purity that you are doing, how much of strength and confidence that you are gaining, what kind of spiritual practice you do to avoid all these things, to prevent all these things. So there are a lot of subtle concepts around our life which needs to be explored to find out a particular solution that you're looking for. Our subconscious mind is something very important to understand. The subconscious mind has got connection to the subtle world. So when you're relaxedly finding out something deeper, you see that will reveal to you. Maybe either in a dream state or somewhere like you're taking a shower. Most of the brilliant ideas will come in the shower time because your mind is relaxed. Automatically the connection happens. The light bulb glows, right? So the shining happens. So there is a lot of concept within our body. It's called inner world. There is an outer world. So that bridge between the inner and outer world. This is what called yoga. So yoga unites things together, the inner experience and the outer experience. Right? So this is what will happen, like when you are relaxedly doing it for 21 days, it forms an action, it forms a habit inside you. So if you have a goal, like I want to be totally healthy, or I want to be a little bit more confident, I want to gain a little bit more patience in my life, or I want to control my anger. So whatever that goal you want to achieve, if you keep that goal in your mind, and then do this kind of relaxing meditation called Yoga Nidra, automatically within 21 days you will be in a position to reprogram your subconscious mind. Right? So, what do you think? Like when we learn about some concept, like there is a knowledge that I should not be doing it, but I can't avoid doing it. I can't stop myself doing it. I know that if somebody is smoking, like he knows that smoking is not good for him, but at that critical time, that person cannot take a decision. He will automatically get. So what is that force that helps us to go towards something that we crave for, or that doesn't give us enough strength to stop it? Have you ever thought about that? This is where the think about the subconscious mind and conscious mind comes. Right? So if you think about like an egg, like just think about an egg, and then top 10%. Think about a line on the top 10%. So the top 10% of the egg is representing our conscious mind, but the bottom 90% is our subconscious mind. Right? So the subconscious mind has got information about habits that we have been carrying on all our life, and sometimes from the previous lives also. So that has got deep-rooted impressions called samskara. In Sanskrit, it's called samskara, deep-rooted tendencies and habits that we've been doing. And that influences the conscious mind, the top 10%. So all the time, whenever you are in a particular situation, the subconscious mind is providing the fuel or giving the thoughts to react in a particular way. Like say for example, if you have a lot of anger, upbringing, like if you have a religious father or somebody influenced you in an angry environment, you have got anger as a subconscious mind. So whenever there is a situation that you see somebody not doing perfect work, or in a situation where you are working with mediocre people, like you automatically you flare up that anger. You can stop it because the samskara is giving you that the only way that you can think about it. Right? If you have a particular condition where you lose your calmness or become stressed out or panic, you become depressed on certain things by looking at something or by seeing something, by hearing something. So those are all coming from our subconscious mind, which is very deep. We don't know about that. But the conscious mind we know about, that we are aware about these thoughts. These thoughts always come to mind. Like when you do a SWOT analysis, you know, this is my strength, this is my weakness, these are the opportunities, these are the kind of threats on me. So certain things are known, certain things are unknown. So you have to work with the known and work with the unknown. Right? So if we practice Yoga Nidra or the relaxation technique that we are going to provide in this 21 days, so all the positive things that we do it in a relaxed state of mind, where the barrier between this conscious mind and subconscious mind is illusion. Like it's like a wall. Like if you think about that, there is a wall between the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. So most of the time the subconscious mind only comes to the conscious mind. The conscious mind doesn't influence the subconscious mind because there is a wall. It's only one way. It just comes from subconscious mind from bottom to the top. It doesn't percolate from the top to the bottom. But when you practice Yoga Nidra or some kind of conscious relaxation meditation technique, so the barrier between this conscious and subconscious mind, they dilute. It's like an osmosis process. Like if you take a stem of a plant and then put it in a colored water, the colored water will go inside the stem. Right? So instead of green it will become pink. Because it transfers through the skin, through the difference in density. Right? So similarly, when you loosen that practice, that layer, that barrier between the conscious and subconscious mind through this relaxation technique, so automatically then you think about, I'm getting smarter, I'm getting intelligent, I'm taking care of my life, I'm taking care of my relationship, I'm getting very powerful. So what are the positive affirmations that you keep reflecting or ruminating during the time of meditation? So that, because the barrier becomes loosened right now, so that starts influencing going to the subconscious mind. And this is the only way you can change your habit. Because if you are already depending on your habit, on your samskara, then automatically it has become so far away that you don't have any control to stop it. But during the time that you relax, during the time you practice meditation, over a period of time, you'll see that the subconscious mind will be replaced with the positive thinking that you are planting on the conscious mind during the state of yoga. So if you do it for 21 days, most of the chances that the topmost layer of your subconscious mind will be filled with this positive affirmation. So automatically when you are coming in a situation where you are supposed to be angry because of the past habit, you will stop. Maybe you will take a detour. Maybe you take a pipe breath. Maybe you become silent. You walk out. Don't show your anger. So some internal force will be inside you building up which will stop you. This is where the intelligence will come in. Your soul will come in. The higher intelligence, higher consciousness will flow in such a way that it will stop your physical body, it will stop your senses to overreacting to that situation. And that is the most important factor of this practice, is to control our mind, influence our subtle body, so that we do not react in a way that we do not want. We will be the master of our thoughts rather than we become a slave of our thoughts. Most of the time, the thoughts are the only thing that is happening in our mind, because mind is dealing with thoughts. So if you know how to control our thoughts, that is called yoga. Yoga is chitta bhakti nirodha. Controlling of the mind, controlling of the thought, restraining of our thoughts is the practice of yoga. So through physical practices of asanas, through breathing practices like pranayama, through different kind of pratyahara, the yoga nidra techniques, you will learn how to control the senses by taking advantage of the subtle body. Right? So that is what the whole plan is. If you have a particular goal and if you practice this yoga nidra for 21 days, reflecting on that goal, 3 times before you practice the yoga nidra, 3 times after you practice the yoga nidra, that creates these two blockages, two address blocks that influences your subconscious mind, and over a period of time you'll see that your habit will change and you'll manifest more desires to come true. Right? So you create a positive mindset or positive vibrations around you, so that you will attract right amount of people, or right quality of people, or right quantity of opportunities, whatever that is required. So the body, mind and intelligence will collaborate with each other to create very sensitive adjustments. Like say for example, if somebody is having an eating disorder, the body will be so sensitive that it will not be attracted to junk food, or it will stop after eating for 10 minutes. The body will internally control it. So that's what happens. Like when you have a stronger willpower and you learn the technique of using your will to take a decision at a particular given moment of time, then you'll see that that will happen. Because we all have that power. The yogis have found out that we all have the power to take a decision, but we don't use that. Like if you take a commitment to practice 21 days of yoga, first day you will do it, because you exercise that power of will. Second day, you left it to the habit. So when you leave it to the habit doesn't have the tendency, doesn't have the power. So you have to execute that power of decision every day, and in fact every moment. If you don't use it, you lose it. And most of the time, we falter because of that. We don't use that power that is given to us. The power to focus, the power to concentrate on the mind is all given to us. We can build up that by exercising it. So this is where the mindfulness comes in. So when you have a goal, and you learn this technique of exercising the concentration power, exercising the power to take a decision, and employ the intelligence, employ your soul to remind you, then automatically you will pass the test. You will not fail. So that's what happens. So when you guard your everyday's activities and then consider about this concept that you are teaching your mind, and slowly over a period of time, there will be a beautiful relationship that will build up in our subtle body. Our mind, our ego and intelligence will work like a team. Because the communication will be so strong and so consistent all the time that they cannot make mistake. Like if you are a CEO of a company where you have got a lot of employees, if you have a particular goal to achieve, you have to communicate that goal. You have to make sure that every employee, every department in your company understands that goal. Similarly, if we have taken a resolve, like I want to be totally healthy, I want to be more focused, I want to build more success into my life. So how do you communicate that goal to every part of the body? Because your body has got a lot of divine components. Every cell is very important in our life. Because one of such cell created us to start with. So if you understand the power of our mind, if you understand the power of our intelligence, and if you want to take advantage of that, at some point of time you have to think about how do I communicate this goal constantly, on a constant remembrance basis. It's called japa. In yoga tradition we call it japa, this is chanting or incantation. How you can chant that goal or the name or the concept, that affirmation that you want to take. And that is what we teach in the first session that we will be doing it. We will be explaining how the breath can be a wonderful tool to reprogram our subconscious mind. Because breath is one thing that we always do. 24/7, we cannot stop breathing. 21,600 times we breathe every day. So how do you make use of that 21,600 times to reprogram your subconscious mind? That is also another subtle technique. So there are a lot of tools and techniques which will be practically used during this practice, so that whatever goal that you have, you will have only chance to move forward and then move towards achieving that goal. It could be a physical goal, it could be a mental goal, it could be an emotional health, or it could be a spiritual goal. Everything is possible through the power of mind.